Don't make big decisions in the storm. Hello everybody, and I am Stephen Sterling, and welcome back to Map to Soul Daily, your daily podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Player FM, and YouTube. It's great to meet you once again on a platform that celebrates one another. Map to Soul Daily is where practical psychology meets timeless biblical wisdom to help you become the best version of yourself. Please leave us a review and share it with a friend that might need this message today. Before we begin, I'd like to say something. If your mind feels noisy today, if life feels uncertain, if you're carrying more questions than answers, I'm really glad you pressed play. Because today's conversation is for anyone standing in the middle of a storm. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, grab a piece of paper and a pen, make yourself comfortable, and whether you're walking or driving, today's episode might just be the episode for you. So take one slow breath and gently let it go. Let's spend a few minutes together. If we were sitting together this morning, I'd ask you something like, have you ever noticed how different you think when you're calm compared to when you're overwhelmed? I mean, let's break this down. Calm versus overwhelmed. See, when you're anxious, everything feels urgent. Every problem feels bigger, and every decision feels like it has to be made immediately. But does it? One of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard was this: don't make your biggest decisions in the middle of a storm. Now, you can interpret that various ways. When I say biggest decision in the middle of the storm, it's not how to get out of the storm. Why did the storm exist in the first place? Did I deserve the storm? Because those are the questions we ask ourselves. The big decisions that will move us forward, we cannot make when we're overwhelmed or anxious. Think about a pilot flying through severe turbulence, for example, and the aircraft shakes. Visibility is poor and the passengers become nervous. But the pilot doesn't suddenly decide to change the destination. The pilot focuses on one thing: flying safely through the turbulence. Only when the skies become clearer do the important decisions become easier. Life is very similar. Sometimes we want to resign from our job or end a relationship, sell the house, give up on the dream, walk away from our faith because life pressed hard on us, because we're anxious, we're overwhelmed, all because we're making permanent decisions during temporary emotional storms. Can I gently encourage you today? Maybe today isn't the day you decide if you're going through a storm. If you are going through a storm today, maybe today isn't the day to decide to end the relationships or give up your job or give up on your faith. Maybe today is simply the day to breathe, to pray, to rest, to regain your perspective, to wait for the skies to clear. One of the things I've learned is that clarity rarely arrives when we're forcing it. It often arrives quietly, after we've rested, after we've prayed, after we've stopped trying to control everything. CBT teaches us something fascinating. When our stress levels are high, our brains naturally become more focused on danger than possibility. And that's why problems feel enormous when we're emotionally exhausted. It doesn't mean the problem has grown. It means your nervous system is asking for rest. NLP reminds us that the picture we create in our minds influence the emotions we experience. When we continually imagine disaster, our bodies respond as though disaster has already happened. But when we pause, slow our breathing, and picture ourselves moving through the storm, our minds begin finding solutions instead of simply seeing problems. One of my favorite moments in Scripture is when Jesus calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee. A few years ago, I stood beside that very sea in Israel, and it looked peaceful. Almost impossible to imagine violent waves crashing against a small fishing boat. Yet, storms can appear quickly there. The disciples were terrified, but Jesus wasn't. He didn't panic. He didn't rush. He brought peace before he brought direction. I've often thought about that. Maybe that's what many of us need today. Not another answer, but peace. To go with peace into the storm, asking Jesus in prayer for peace to go into the storm, to know that our boat will not sink. Because when peace returns, wisdom often follows. Can I remind you of something today? You don't have to solve your whole life before bedtime. You don't have to figure out next year this afternoon. Sometimes your only responsibility is the next faithful step, and that's enough. Can I remind you of something else? You are enough. You are more than enough. You are enough. Not because you've got everything worked out, but because your worth has never depended on having all the answers, and that you are deeply loved, especially on the days when life feels uncertain. Here's today's coffee question. So you can write it down, you can open up the app, you can just think about this one. What decision have you been trying to force that might benefit from a little more peace and a little more time? Sometimes waiting isn't the weakness, sometimes waiting is wisdom. So let's finish with today's daily reset. Take one slow breath in, hold it, and slowly breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Now quietly repeat after me. I don't need to rush my future. Peace prepares me for wisdom. Today, I will rest, regroup, and take one faithful step. Today's walk is simple. Continue today's journey inside the focus section of the Map to Soul app. Set your intention for today. Choose one thing to focus on, and then spend 5 minutes in quiet breathing before making any important decision. Let your heart become calm. Then write in your journal, when my mind becomes clear, my next step will be. Not your next 10 steps, just one. Because one peaceful step is far more powerful than 10 panicked ones. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one thought. Winter is not the season to force growth. Winter is the season to strengthen the roots. Think of it in terms of a plant. Winter is not the season to force growth. Winter is the season to strengthen the roots, to rest, to prepare, to trust that spring will come, and when it does, you already know which direction to take. Your story isn't over. You are enough and you are deeply loved. And today, calm may become tomorrow's breakthrough. If you need more in this, reach out. Reach out to your therapist, your pastor, or a friend, a loved one. Leave us a message on the prayer wall on the Map to Soul app, and let the community pray with you. Until next time, pray, then walk. You've got this. This is Stephen Sterling, and thank you for sharing a coffee, a thought, and a lovely moment of peace with me today. I'll see you in the next episode.